Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to tell you about a site called udio.com. That's udio.com. Link will be in the description. And how you can use it to generate free AI generated music for your games. Now, of course, you may not want music, or if you want music, you may want to make it yourself, or if you're able to do that, or you may want to get some music that someone else has made from opengameart.org, which, despite the name, has a quite significant amount of music as well as other audio like sound effects, which you're able to use under various licenses. Again, I'll link to this one in the description. But you may want some, original music. You may want music that sort of no one else has, and one way to do that is to generate it by AI. There are other sites other than Udio, and I'll go through them. I'll go through other ones if there's enough interest in doing so. But Udio is one of the ones that I found that is currently free. Now, I'd say about this the same thing that I have said about AI art, which is that this is a new area. AI generated art and music that anyone might want to use is quite a new phenomenon, and I don't think they've really worked out the commercial model for it yet, and so sites go up and then go down quite quickly all the time, and sites start as free and then start to charge all the time. So this can change. It can change rapidly. In fact, Udio specifically says, as you can see here from the site, it says Udio beta. The people who run the site have specifically said that they intend to start charging, but I don't think they've sort of set a timetable for when they're going to start charging people. So at the moment, as of sort of the time of recording this this video, it is free. So this is what you'll see when you go to, I'll just close that one, we don't need that anymore. This is what you'll see when you go to the site, except that you will have to sign in. So you can sign in through using Google or the other usual options. They don't send you much. Sometimes you sign up to things and you get spam from them every few days. I don't think I've gotten anything from them so far, but you do have to sort of give them a contact email, so there is that to bear in mind. But once you've signed in, you can have you can search if you want, but I'm going to assume that you probably want to sort of make your own music. So it's fairly straightforward. It's actually very similar to how AI art usually works. You have a sort of, I suppose, equivalent of a search bar. Now you have the possibility with lyrics, you have custom, which means that when you click that, it opens a window and you put in what you want the lyrics to be. Or instrumental, which of course means that there will be no lyrics. Or auto-generated, which means that it will write lyrics for you. I suspect most people will want instrumental music, but if you want lyrics, I'd really recommend not using auto-generated. I don't find the lyrics very good, so bear that in mind. It seems to be much better at writing convincing music than it is at writing convincing lyrics, at least as of now. You can see it works in the way that free AI generation usually works, which is that you have a certain amount of stuff that you can create per day, and that's displayed in the bit that I've just highlighted. You have this toggle here, which is manual mode, which is off by default, and what it does is when you enter a set of keywords, by default, when manual mode is off, it will sort of add other keywords as well, that are similar, and so you might find that useful, or you might find it not useful. You'll need to sort of give a few goes to see whether you want to do that. But by default, it's off, so I'm going to do an example with it off. So let's say we're probably going to want, let's say, brooding, orchestral. We'll ticked it onto instrumental, brooding, orchestral, minor key, slow, doom, tense. I'm not sure if those are useful. Let's put classical there as well. It always suggests it seems to want you to put things separated by commas. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but I'll do it that way. Brooding, orchestral, slow, tense, perhaps film music or film score, something like that. And you might say, all right, I want a cello, and I want strings or a string section or something like that. It's not always going to give you. It's the same as with AI art. It's not always going to give you what you ask for. It might not have a cello and it might not have a string section, but we'll put it in there and see. Okay, so that's enough examples, and then we click create. Now, what is this? I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure what that means, but anyway, we'll click create, and it gives you two. It says good-looking corpse because that's just my what I've chosen as my username, but it generates two sets of, or two what can you say? Two files of music. Each of the music files is 30 seconds long, and it doesn't sort of start. It's like 30 seconds taken from the middle of a piece of music. So I'll show you, which might be fine for this sort of more ambient kind of background music, which is probably what you're going to want in this context most of the time. That might be fine. But when it's finished, I'll show you how to create something where it sort of starts and ends as well. Once we get it created, it's telling us this here. If you can see this, it says it's got less than a minute to go. So as you can see, it's sort of gone with cello, film score, and orchestral. It seems to have perhaps slightly ignored some of the others. All right, so let's have a look at this one. We can play it, which of course is what that arrow button means. So let's play both of them and then sort of pick one. Okay, so to me that sounds like maybe a sad piece of music from a film from the 50s or the 60s more so than a modern one. But so there's that one, and let's try the other one. Okay, this is more sort of what I had in my head, a more sort of modern. Yeah. Okay. So that one's more what I was thinking of. So let's go with that one. We could of course just create more and pick one, but let's go with that one. We might as well delete the other one. Of course, you don't have to do this, but I personally like to sort of keep it neat, I suppose. So we've got that one. Let's press extend. Let's say we don't want it to just sort of come in as if in the middle. We want it to have an actual start. So we go extend, and we can add a section before, and that will add another 30 seconds, but that won't be like the beginning of the piece. or we can add a section after, and that will be another 30 seconds or 32 seconds, but it won't be like the end of the piece. But let's say, for the purposes of shortening the video, let's say we just want to add intro. That adds 30 seconds as if from the beginning of the piece of music. So the music will have, or at least if the AI does its job, the music will have a beginning that sounds like the beginning of a piece of music. So let's choose instrumental again. We'll keep the keywords as they are. You can change them, but I'm not sure whether it makes a huge amount of difference. So let's try, for example, flute, orchestral, modern, film, harp, and see if it makes any difference. It may not. It may just compose something that sort of fits with what we've already got. But we'll choose extend. And then we get two two versions of the extension of it. And it'll also keep the original unextended version. So if you don't want to get, if you're going to do this a lot, you'll get a lot of files because you'll be doing things and going, oh, that doesn't work, etc. So you may want to sort of delete stuff as you go. You can see that it's using slightly different keywords. This is because we've got this the manual mode off. It says film score, Western classical music, and this says the same thing but in a slightly different order, which is not exactly what we put in there. Seems perhaps it's going to ignore the flute and the harp, but anyway, because it tends to create lots and lots of files, you may want to go through my creations a few times, which is all of the stuff that you haven't deleted, and just delete things that you no longer need if you don't want to have it all build up and become confusing. Anyway, so it's generated this extension, so let's have a little look at this. I'll just turn off the music. Oh, I see it's starting very slowly. And we can see now that the time is 1 minute and 5 seconds because, of course, this is sort of two sets of 32 seconds put together. Yeah, as you can see, there's not... Ooh, I like that. There's not really flute and harp. You have that problem that it doesn't always do everything that you want it to do. But anyway, let's have a look at version 2. Okay, I think I prefer version 2. Okay, so of course we might prefer neither of those, and we could keep going. We could just extend this one again and get another one. So let's say we prefer this one. So we'll delete the other ones, and perhaps delete the original. I don't know if I would do that. I might in real life I might keep it because I want to, in case I change my mind and want to go back. But now, what I would do with this in real life if I wanted to use this, I'd probably extend it again. I'd probably add a couple of sections, and then I'd add an outro to give it a sort of proper finish. But of course, that's just the same. It's the same process really, so it'd be a bit redundant doing it on this. Oh, I see, and you can specify where the section goes and stuff. But anyway, actually, sorry, I did flip over that a bit more. Let's look at this. Oh, I see. So this says select a section of the song to crop before the extension process occurs. Okay, so if you're sort of going, okay, that's fine, but can we get rid of this bit? I don't like that. You can tweak it in more detail as well. But I'm not going to do that. Let's assume that I have done that. I'll just X out of it, which you do by clicking outside of the window. Let's say that this is good enough for me. I'm going to now publish means that you put it in the you make it sort of publicly available so people can see it if they search for it and stuff like that. If you're interested in sort of becoming part of the community and you know, etc., etc. But that's a bit beyond the scope of the use that I'm assuming you're going to put it to, so I won't get into that. And remix just means you sort of go back and, well, create what a remix actually is. Create something that's like this track but is slightly different. So again, I won't get into that. I'll just show you how to download it. You can click on these little dots, and it's quite simple, but you just have to know. And then we choose download, and then it will treat it the way your computer treats files. In this case, it's put it into the downloads file, because that's how I have this particular computer set up. I'm doing this on a Mac. I haven't noticed any difference between Mac and PC. I've used this site on both Mac and PC, so it seems to be, as far as I can tell, pretty much exactly the same. The only difference from one computer to the next is probably going to be that how the downloading works, where you've set downloads to go. And then when you've downloaded it, let's get out of that. When you've downloaded it, there it is. It's an MP3 file, and you can treat it as you would any other file, which is that you rename it, you know, music or background music or whatever you want, and put it in your project and use it as you would use any other audio file. Which the commands for how to use audio I've covered in previous videos, so I'm not going to go over those again. So that's udio.com. As I say, there are other sites that do the same or similar things, and if there's enough interest, I'll go through those. But that is a free option at the moment, and it's one that I recommend at the moment. So I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.